Hi, everybody. This is King Choi. So I am here with Richard. And Richard, I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Richard. I am the art director for Life by You, and I've been with this team for over 3 years, I want to say. And I was the first art person to join the team, so I've been here ever since the very beginning.
One of the things that I want to kick us off with is this first question around the art development process at the start of the game development. And, what was the experience coming into the team and tasked with defining the visual language of this game?
Early on, the decision was to make sure that the art style is not anything specific. We definitely know that there's other life sims out there and there's many different flavors of it, and we did not want to copy any of that. We want to distinguish ourselves, but we also know that part of the experience of a life sim is for players to eventually take the game and add their stuff to it and play it however way they want. So how we landed on the way the game looks is more of making sure that the game has enough flexibility for you to add whatever you want to it, but then also have enough of a base where when you first launch the game, there's a lot of things in there that mimics the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you'll be familiar with.
We're cycling through some of the concept art right now. Talk me through why you went one direction versus another. Was there one specific sort of like art style that you kind of pushed for?
We kind of imagine our users to be folks that have been playing life sims,
mm-hmm.
and they've grown up playing life sims. Now they want something a little bit more.
Yeah.
So what would they be expecting? And that was kind of how we approached it, where, okay, we wanted things to be a little bit more mature. We wanted to make sure that we avoid things looking too cartoony and slapstick. Paying more attention to the way they dress and how they behave, and the world should also reflect things that are a little bit more appealing to an older generation, where the buildings look a little bit more modern.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting is can be moody, and is flexible enough to appeal to that audience that has grown up playing life sims.
Yeah. One of the things that you're talking about, is the look of the characters. And so can you tell me a little bit about the intent behind, how you got to working with the team to get to the ways that the characters look in game right now?
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that the character can be really customized. Like, you can really create whatever you want, how the character looks, whether it's mimicked after yourself or maybe someone famous. We wanted to make sure that the one thing that we focused a lot on is having enough of the controls that will let you go in and customize every little part of the character, from all the facial features to your body proportions, and then to make sure that the character is realistic looking, but not to a point where we're reaching that
uncanny valley.
Yeah, the uncanny valley where you see, every little piece of detail. Mm-hmm. So there's a fine balance in there where we're trying to strike, but that doesn't mean that the users can't later on go in and, if whatever they want to do to the character, they can. If they want to create a cartoony looking character with anime proportions, that our game is there to facilitate that as well.
I played with those sliders and the customization details on various physical features. Yes.
Yeah.
You can go to that extreme if you want to.
You can, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about the world that these characters exist in. And the world that we're launching with early access is a beachside town. Can you talk a little bit about the aesthetics about this town and how the team and you got to creating this world as the world that we're launching?
The role that we settled on, definitely a lot of it is we wanted to make an environment where you have all your characters go about their lives, but in a sunny bright, happy, kind of playful place. And the thought of having a beachside town is very casual, and it seems like that would be a great place to have a small town. And it allowed us to have a lot of activities. You can hang out in the beach and have fun, but then also we can lay out a nice little town next to it that can be kind of quaint and cute. Another part of the town, if you go a little bit deeper, you can cross the bridge and there's another section of it. So we have a little bit of everything. We have, the beach side, we have kind of the vineyards up in the top, and then we have some foresty areas where you can do some scenic drives. So there's enough space for users to kind of make, if they want to customize their town, they can make any type of town they want.
One of the things is that I keep playing the game with the new builds that we are constantly pushing out during the development process, stress testing the game. What is surprising to me and what delights me a lot is the open worldness of it, not only by way of the sprawling real estate that you get to play with and customize, but it's also because of the fact we are an open world and that we don't have rabbit holes, that there's a lot of businesses and like there's boutiques,
right.
The market. What has been kind of like the thing in designing all of these different environments and designing the art style itself, what's been sort of keeping you up at night? What are things that have been stressor points for you in defining the visual language for this game?
The thing that is the most challenging, and as you brought up just now with the rabbit holes, that is, if you wanted to make a town feel dense, that is one of the tricks that a lot of other games have done, is to make buildings that don't actually do anything. And that was something that we thought about, but in the end, like if it doesn't have any functionality, it doesn't affect gameplay. We didn't want to put it in. So the thing that made it challenging is to be able to make sure that the town feels lived in, and it had all the things that made it feel like a functioning town. It had shops, it had workplaces, it had residential houses that are lived in by the NPCs, and they travel, to and fro, living their lives, and to make that feel real and not where they drive off somewhere and then they just disappear.
It's not a soundstage.
It's not a soundstage. If you wanted to become that NPC and live that life and follow him through his path, you're able to do that.
I think that's something that's kind of like coming to mind for me, and what's resonating with me is that the art style is in service of storytelling and not just for cosmetic means. And so we'll close this out with the last question is, what do you hope the players will take away from the art style once they start playing with the game when it becomes available?
The art style, we wanted to make sure that it is in service of the player, that this is a user-centric game, and the art allows the character to play out the game the way they want, create the characters that they want, create the world that they want.
And it's kind of like we're giving you enough of a kind of like life sim canvas that comes with your vision as an art director, but making it flexible enough for the players to sort of put their own creativity on top of it to really make the stories, the characters, the world their own. Right?
Exactly.
So
I couldn't have said it any better.
I mean, that's why I'm in marketing, I guess. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for your time today and walking us through the art development process for this game. It was really great to I've learned a little bit more about how the process went, and I'm also really excited for our players to start getting their hands on this game so they can actually start making their own things in this world.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, King.
Bye.
Would you mind telling us your name and what you do at Paradox?
Hey, yeah. So I'm Chris, and I'm a technical artist here at Paradox. I'm here to talk about the dynamic lighting in the game and then some character customization stuff.
Do you want to go ahead and start with the dynamic lighting?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So one of the fundamental aspects of creating a believable world is the lighting in it. And so one of the things that we were trying to do with Life by You is make sure that every light source is dynamic and casts real-time shadows if you're close enough to the camera. We're hoping that helps make the world feel vibrant and alive. For example, you can imagine a character that's sitting in front of a flickering fireplace, and the shadow is casting from the fireplace off to the sides of the person. Or you can also have dust that's glowing from the sunlight peeking through the windows of your house as dawn breaks. Related to that, as you might have noticed with some of the videos, the world's lighting changes with the time of day as well, which shows passage of time and gives you a bunch of different lighting throughout the day. So this is also something that we're actively working on, adjusting the look and feel of, to help just make it feel more immersive and alive.
One thing that I do want to ask is, like, how do you control the lighting in the game?
So since we're largely about the customization and control that you have over the worlds, we wanted to have some control for lighting. So your characters can turn lights on and off, fireplaces, candles, lights, that sort of thing, to create different atmospheres. Certain lights they'll function as smart lights as well, where you can adjust the temperature and color of them, just add to the customization of it. Similar to some other life sim games, when you walk out of your house, then the lights will automatically turn off. And same thing if everybody's sleeping in the house, then the lights will automatically turn off and back on during the day. And then we have a special case for businesses. So businesses, like their neon site, will turn on when that business is open during the day. We think that it's like some small details like that for the differentiation of building types that can help make a difference.
Character customization. So let's switch gears and talk about that.
Yeah, we've been trying to add support for a wide range of customization, including the addition of scars, beauty marks, and tattoos. And all of those have customized placement on your character. So what that means is that you can rotate, scale, and reposition them to achieve the look that you're envisioning. For early access, we're supporting 6 tattoos on your character, 1 for the face, 1 for each arm, 1 for your torso, and 1 for each leg. But after the initial early access, we plan to support any number of tattoos or scars or beauty marks so that you can have a really deep level of customization for the character. We also let you blend smoothly between different stages of wrinkles and glossiness. You can also adjust the iris, pupils, and sclera separately so you can have heterochromia for your characters. So we're hoping that this level of flexibility allows you to create a big range of unique characters. Each have their own personal style and identity.
Could you tell us your name and what you do?
Hi, my name is Sean Nakamura. I'm the senior artist.
We're here to talk about facial features today. I know you've been doing a lot of work on various parts of the face. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what you've been working on in terms of, like, the nose?
Sure. So, as you can tell just from the different faces you see every day, every nose shape is different. And I just wanted to make sure that our model that we use, we could create all those different shapes that you see to create the different shapes of faces.
One thing that I think is kind of difficult is, different sizes of nose and how that relates to the rest of the face. Like, how do you balance that?
Well, I try to balance it based off of... So what I do is I usually grab like a celebrity face, a face that everybody knows, and I try to create the same proportions that they have. Sometimes it's a hit or miss, but I try to get as close as possible, just so we can test the limits of what our character can do.
From the different noses that we already have in the game, there's a lot of variety. I know we have sliders. How did you make sure that the sliders worked, like, across the face? Because you move the nose, like, it might change the cheeks. Like, how does that work?
That all deals with weight painting. So weight painting is pretty meticulous. Like, basically, it like when you move a slider, it moves a joint, and that joint moves a certain vertice or a piece of mesh on a face. So I have to go in there and adjust, test, like nonstop, just to get everything working kind of correctly. There's still some flaws that I see, but majority of it's getting worked out pretty well. Like, obviously, there's more than just the nose on the face. You go nose, lips, eyes. Kind of curious, like, how do you approach lips differently? For lips, I'm Asian, so I have really thin lips. So as you go to different ethnic groups, the lips thickness, shapes, they all change. So I just wanted to make sure I can target and create each different type of lip shape, so you can combine as well, like different eyes with different lips and different noses to create your own individual face. I just try to make it so we're as flexible as possible.
One thing I really like about the character creator, and we'll be showing footage of this as I talk, is the fact that you can actually change like the outer lip, inner lip, like middle lip. How did you make all of those pieces work together too?
Yeah. Again, it goes back to the weight painting. So there's the particular shape called the Cupid's bow, I believe, where middle part of the lip, the top lip, is lower, and the outer lips are higher. So I had to adjust the weights just to make sure we could create that shape, or you can totally remove it if you wanted to.
That's cool. Yeah, because I know some people have it, some people don't. Yeah. And eyes. I think eyes are a big part of the face, especially when you're trying to make somebody feel unique. How did you approach eyes?
Eyes, that's basically the gateway, to everyone's soul. That's like one of the first things people look at. So I also tried to build it off popular celebrities. I tried to go with people who had different eye shapes or unusual eye shapes, just so we can capture everything into our character. There's some things that I would like to add in the future. We're working on currently is to add more double eyelids and ability to kind of bulge the eyes a little bit. But trying to create one all character that can be everybody and everything is pretty difficult, but we're getting pretty close.
That's great, and I really appreciate you walking us through each of those facial features. Is there anything else you wanted to add in terms of the work you've been doing on the face?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy just tinkering overall. Like, I'm a person who likes to take things apart and then put it back together just to figure out how it works. So I really enjoy the exploration I have to do to find the characters in our character that we have. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's it for me on the nose, lips, and eyes.
Cool.
Cool. What's your name and what do you do?
Okay, my name's Eric. I'm a character artist on Life by You. I guess today I'm going to be talking a bit about hair in the game.
So one thing that I know you've been working on is the hair textures. Could you talk a little bit more about how hair textures have started and where they are now?
Sure. So up till this point, we've been focused on just getting stuff in the game, and now leading up to early access is the time we want to spend really making the stuff look polished and more refined. What I've been working on lately is making the hair look a lot more detailed, and then also adding support for color tinting. So right now, a lot of the hair props are just one overall color. What I'm adding now is what you call tint maps. So you can have multiple hair colors and then strands of hair that have other color gradients going on. So I have a lot more flexibility and options for your hair color.
I'm kind of curious how you approach that when it comes to so many different kinds of hairstyles.
Mm-hmm. So right now I've gone through and updated a few different types of hair, and then what I'm going to do is carry that through to all the rest of the hair props. So I have kind of the fundamental building blocks for updating the hair, so now I have to go through and apply it to the rest of the hair props. For starting out, what I did was made new hair cards that I used to create more detailed texture maps. From there you can build up, add more tinting options. Use a texture program called Substance Painter, and that provides a lot of flexibility and options for how you texture things. And once you have stuff in there, it's easy to edit and use it for other future hair props and reuse things, so you can save a lot of time once you get your first batch of assets made.
We're kind of a small team, so obviously you have to do a lot of hair, and I think making that work across the board makes perfect sense. I'm kind of curious, because there's multiple different kinds of hair. How do you do eyebrows?
So eyebrows right now, I've done a little testing with alpha planes, but right now they're baked into the character face texture. So basically you pick the different eyebrows you want, like a lot of different facial features, and then everything gets baked down into one big face texture. That's one of the things I'll be doing another pass on during this polish phase, is making the eyebrows look a little better, make sure they all tint how people expect them to. And we also need to probably spend some time making the hair color consistently. So right now, if you pick your hair color, the eyebrows don't really update. We have some work there to make everything kind of in sync.
I like the option to have the matching or not matching, but I really appreciate that it would sync, because I know when especially when you're randomly creating people, you want it to feel cohesive.
You definitely want to keep the option to have them unique. If you want, say, pink eyebrows and blue hair, you'll be able to do that. Also, by default, we want stuff to look cohesive, and then if you want to break that, that's totally up to you.
And then another part of hair is facial hair. Kind of curious, like, how you've approached facial hair and where that's going.
Facial hair is, some of it is textured on the face, and some of it is actual geometry hair. It'll be a similar polish process to the rest of the hair props, where it's going to be getting a polish pass in the textures so they look more detailed and they blend better with the scalp and the face.
I'm looking forward to that. A lot of folks are excited for facial hair.
I really want to add a lot more options as well. So it's kind of the same with a lot of the hair props. I'm going to look for any gaps we have in hairstyles and add more options and variants as I go through them. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add about hair and how you approached it?
I think right now we're trying to just get a good spectrum of hairstyles. That all these hairstyles are used for our entire population. So right now there aren't a lot of super unique hairstyles, but I think once this polish pass is done on the base hair props, start adding a lot more unique options. So it would look a little weird if you have a bunch of people with mohawks walking around the default.
That was my first thought too.
I know players are going to want stuff like that, so we want to add a lot more unique hair options. So if you want a mohawk family, you can have a mohawk family.